An elderly woman very concerned earlier today. We reported in our afternoon newscasts about the search for a 74-year-old woman who wandered off from her home this morning.
Now, we do have good news to share tonight. She was found and is doing okay. Our Bella Caracta shares how the hot temperatures impacted everyone around the metro.
We always end up seeing heat-related illness when it gets to be this hot.
Dr. Eric Ernest with UNMC explains how heat affects the body.
Sweating excessively, realizing that you're losing a lot of fluids. If you start to feel dizzy, nauseous, upset stomach, that kind of thing. And certainly if you're having anything like chest pain, shortness of breath.
They are all signs of heat-related illness. Children, he says, are among the most vulnerable.
They oftentimes don't have the same, ability to express themselves when they're experiencing heat-related symptoms, especially the really young children.
It also impacts the elderly and those who have to be outside, for example, at the bus stop. Of the 2,100 Metro Transit stops across Omaha and Council Bluffs, only 107 are covered. Also at risk, those who work outside.
Have a very prolonged recovery, depending on how severe it is.
Or live outside. Open Door Mission helped those who are experiencing homelessness. They gave out water, Gatorade, and food to dozens of people. 2 of them took their offer to get shelter inside. And as we reported, more than 150 people at the Offutt Air Show in Bellevue needed medical attention. I reached out to the area hospitals as well. 5 people were seen over the weekend for heat-related illness at the Nebraska Medical Center and 17 at CHI Health. On your side in the studio, Bella Caracta, 6 News.
Breaking